Fixtures then. Dortmund again against PSG with a blockbuster tie there. It couldn't have really been any harder for Manchester City. They topped the group but have been drawn against Real Madrid. Liverpool will play Atletico Madrid, struggling a bit this season under Diego Simeone. Chelsea face Bayern Munich, a really tough test for the Blues and a repeat of the 2012 final. And Tottenham have drawn RB Leipzig, who currently sit top of the Bundesliga. And watching that draw with me, Jolien Lescott, Owen Hargreaves and John Hartson. Let's start then with Manchester City, Jolien. It's a horrible draw for them, but I guess also a horrible draw for Real Madrid as well. 100%.
I don't think any team would want this draw, but out of the two, I'll be more confident again with City. Obviously, Real Madrid have the experience, European experience, but over the past couple of years, they kind of haven't been as consistent as we've come accustomed to. If Man City get the players fit again, I'm sure there'll be a tough test.
In a way, is it a better draw for them than getting the likes of Atletico because of the way Real Madrid will play? Will that kind of suit Manchester City?
I mean, it's probably one of the worst teams they could have faced, let's be honest. I mean, if Real Madrid, on their day, with the players that they have, if they can get it together, I think Pep Guardiola knows it's a tough draw. But I'm with Joey, and I think one of the smaller ones, and they got essentially the biggest team in it.
Real Madrid, of course, won it 3 times in a row under Zidane. He's back in charge now. That combination in the Champions League just seems to work for them, doesn't it? He knows what it takes.
Well, he certainly does, as a player as well. Not just as a manager, but I think Man City at this level, there's no easy games. You're looking at the best 16 teams in Europe, and ultimately you've got to beat the best teams to go win it anyway. So we all know that.
Pep Guardiola has said he doesn't feel his side are ready to compete with Europe's elite at the moment. He's got an elite team in this draw. Do you think he really believes that, Jolien, or do you think...
Flair players that they have, Real Madrid, it's definitely not easy, but I wouldn't bet against Pep. He'll find a solution, what's needed for the game.
Well, we can get some thoughts from the Manchester City camp on that draw against Real Madrid. Chiki Begaristan is talking to Emma Dodds.
Well, Chiki, Real Madrid in the last 16, what's your initial reaction to the draw?
Difficult one, of course. They've won already 13 times this competition, so they are the best, no? And the history of this competition. So we have to try to always to beat them. If we want to be the best, we have to try also to beat them. So we are going to have our chances, of course.
And a return to the old rivalry for the manager and also yourself, former Barcelona involvement. What does it mean to you personally?
It's always a pleasure to go to play against Real Madrid and also to play in a big stadium like Santiago Bernabéu. So we are happy to go there, of course, and we know what we're going to face. We know them very well. So, but also, of course, they know also what we are doing, and they know our manager and they know our team. So now everybody knows each other. But it's a great pleasure to go there.
Is the Champions League the priority for the club this season?
I think we have to keep connected to the all competitions. If we are connected to competition, we are going to have the chances to win some. One, of course, it should be Champions League. We have maybe the league. There are maybe many points, Liverpool, but again, we have to be connected.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Well, not wanting to commit that the Champions League is the priority, but very much Pep will be desperate to win this trophy, won't he?
Yeah, 100%. Again, I don't think any player individually will go out there and prioritise any particular game. Pep is going to be geared for the opponents. So going forward, they're going to be focused on that game. But yeah, they have to have one eye on this trophy and think, well, this is our opportunity now. Now the fact that there's so many points behind Liverpool in the league.
And Real Madrid haven't been entirely convincing in the group stage either, have they, Owen? Because they started with defeat to PSG and then they drew with Bruges as well. So that will give City a bit more belief. Perhaps.
Yeah, they started the season really slowly, but I think they've improved. And I think obviously Zidane is not one of the tactician. I don't think he's that way. He's more kind of manages the group of players, which I think is important. But just think, obviously they've got some big injuries as well, Real Madrid. So. Look, could go any way. Obviously, I think for Man City, having the second game at their place will suit them. But defensively, I just worry for Man City with the issues that they have right now. Going forward, as good as anyone. But to go up against Real Madrid with some of the defensive issues they had, who's going to play at left back? Who's going to be one of the centre backs? Jolien said, does Fernandinho play in midfield? They have a few issues they need to address. They've got time to work on that, and do they go sign someone in January who could make a big difference?
Do you think he will sign in January?
It's hard. Who's available? That's going to be at that level. Obviously, there's going to be a premium price to pay as well going forward. But as I said, it's also, if they come back, are they going to be as consistent and at that level? Because that's knockout stage of Champions League. You don't just come back and being out for 4 or 5 months and hit your stride straight away.
That's the only reason why we're slightly negative about City is the fact their defence. Everywhere else on the pitch, they're as good as anybody. Going forward, they score goals, they play unbelievable football. And Man City shouldn't really fear anybody. I don't think they do. But it's only because of Laporte being out.
And how long it takes, as you said.
Absolutely. Otherwise, we'd be really positive about Man City. It's just defensively. Can they keep clean sheets at this level against the best?
Well, let's talk about the current holders. Liverpool going back to the scene where they lifted that trophy back last summer at the Wanda Metropolitano. They've got Atletico Madrid under Diego Simeone. How do you see that tie, John? Two very different sides under two very different managers.
Yeah, but Atletico Madrid, they're not challenging at the minute in La Liga. They're just outside the top 4. Liverpool, as we mentioned, Man City, I don't think Liverpool will fear anybody. I think they...
And they've got a real fear factor, haven't they, Owen, in Europe? They've never lost a knockout tie in Europe. Jurgen Klopp. I know Simeone's not the sort of manager to fear anyone, but Liverpool do carry that aura in Europe now, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. I think the team does, Jurgen Klopp does, Anfield does. Jurgen Klopp, if you were to ask him, I think this would have been one of the hardest teams they could have faced. He knows that, Atletico Madrid are happy to sit in and defend. They've got arguably one of the best goalkeepers in the whole world, a steady back four, good midfield and attacking players in abundance. So they'll sit in and play on the counter, and they can do it as good as anyone. So they'll frustrate Liverpool. The thing is, if Liverpool will dominate, if they take the chances, they win. But we've seen this Atletico Madrid team win with 25% possession, and that will be difficult for Liverpool to manage. I'm sure Jurgen Klopp will have to get the balance right between attack and defence in that one.
So perfect timing then for Mo Salah to be hitting his top form. Yeah,
in regards to the personnel Liverpool have, if they all perform, then it should be a Liverpool win. But Atletico Madrid, for me, are a great team. They've lost a star in terms of Griezmann, the individual talent that they had last season, but collectively as a team and as a unit, they're very hard to break down. Yeah, the goals are a bit harder to come by for them now, aren't they? And Simeone's about to hit his 8th anniversary there, and there are some people now suggesting that he's taken them as far as he can. Owen, what kind of shape do you think they're in at the moment?
I think they've tried to be a bit more attacking, and obviously I think if you're still relying, we saw with Alvaro Morata at Chelsea, if you're relying on him as your number one goal scorer, he's not as consistent. Diego Costa, obviously the goals have dried up for him as well. So that is a big issue for this Atletico Madrid team. In the past, they've always had goal scorers scored in big bunches. They don't have that this season. But still, again, any team with Oblak and that defence in there, they're going to be right there. That game won't be a shootout. That will be as tight as anything. You look at City going out in the last couple of times. They've been shootouts, haven't they? And I don't think that game with Atletico Madrid Liverpool will get that way. Only
one side's actually beaten them at their new stadium since they moved into their Atletico, and that was an English side. It was Chelsea in Europe. But they do have that strong home record as well. Yeah, well, that would be huge for them. They will rely on that when Liverpool go there, because Liverpool will certainly test them. But I still believe that it'll be a shock if Atletico Madrid beat Liverpool. Liverpool will be going to that game huge favourites. The holders confident. You'll see that would be a major shock if Atletico Madrid beat Liverpool. So it's Liverpool against Atletico Madrid, and it is Manchester City.
Well, Cheeky, Real Madrid in the last 16. What's your initial reaction to the draw?
Difficult one, of course. They've won already 13 times this competition, so they are the best, no? And the history of this competition. So we have to try to always to beat them. We want to be the best. We have to try also to beat them. So we are going to have our chances, of course.
And a return to the old rivalry for the manager and also yourself, former Barcelona involvement. What does it mean to you personally?
It's always a pleasure to go to play against Real Madrid and also to play in a big stadium like Santiago Bernabéu. So we are happy to go there, of course. And we know what we're going to face. We know them very well. So, but also, of course, they know also what we are doing, and they know our manager, and they know our team. So now everybody knows each other. But it's a great pleasure to go there.
Is the Champions League the priority for the club this season?
I think we have to keep connected to the all competitions. If we are connected to competition, we are going to have the chances to win some. One, of course, it should be Champions League. We have maybe in the league there are maybe many points, Liverpool, but again we have to be connected.
Thank you very much.